Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Halal Times YouTube channel. A few days ago, what happened is that I met with 4 young Muslim men from Florida, the US, on their first ever visit to Japan. They were sitting in a Malaysian restaurant called Malaychan in Tokyo. They told me that sometimes it was pretty difficult for them to determine whether they were actually consuming halal food whenever they visited a restaurant, even in the US. They seemed to be happy that they were able to find a halal restaurant in Japan without much difficulty. Of course, not all of us can absolutely guarantee whether the food we consume in restaurants or at our homes is actually halal, meaning that their consumption or use does not break any of the strictures of Islam. Why so? There are a lot of so-called halal restaurants out there in every part of the world which do not care much about what they offer to their customers. It's true for small restaurants as well as for large ones. Even some Muslim owners also fall into the same sad category of ignorance, who don't care much about what they're going to serve to their Muslim customers. Unfortunately, most Japanese restaurants in Japan use wine or sake while cooking their cuisine. They do not consider it haram. Some other restaurant owners in the country think that ham and bacons are not meat at all. This is especially ridiculous as both these items are clearly pork meat and there is no question about them, of course, that they are haram in every sense of the word. You as an informed consumer can greatly minimize the chance of consuming haram food when you go visit a restaurant where you're not sure about whether they serve halal food or not. Moreover, the following information may help you determine whether the food they serve to you is actually halal, even out of Japan. Of course, we're not just talking about the Japanese restaurant. We're talking about restaurants everywhere in the world, and especially in non-Muslim countries. If you want to make sure that the food which you're going to consume at a restaurant is actually halal, you may simply need to ask the following questions to make sure that you are going to eat what you want to and nothing else. I've listed some of the questions which you may want to ask when you enter a restaurant that claims to offer halal food. And of course, this is a very general information. It does not apply to Japan only. It applies to everywhere. So what are the questions which you may want to ask before you start consuming their food? The very first question which I would like to ask, if I go to a restaurant about which I'm not sure what kind of food they have, first of all, I would like to ask them, do they have a Muslim staff member or the owner who could answer the following questions? If they do not know what halal even means, then you know what you need to do. The very next question which I would like to ask them, what food items in their restaurant are halal? Of course, if they know the meaning of halal, then they would know, generally speaking, they would know what items they serve at their restaurant are actually halal. Are these food items halal certified? If yes, can they show the certification? And do they serve the halal chicken or mutton along with other non-halal items or separately in the same refrigerator or in a different one? This is an important question, of course. Another important question which I would like to ask them, do they use separate cooking utensils for halal versus haram dishes? For example, cutting boards, knives, frying pans, and other cooking pots, etc. And if they serve both halal and haram dishes, do they have a separate space in their kitchen used for preparing halal dishes only? This is a very important question. And you gotta make sure that they actually do have that kind of space. Why? Because the thing is that, for example, if at one moment they are preparing non-halal meat, the next moment they would start preparing halal meat at the same place, which of course you cannot consume because it will be contaminated with the haram meat as well. We cannot eat that kind of food. The next question, which is very important from our point of view, is which cooking oil do they use for cooking purposes? Salad oil or non-salad one? And especially if you're in Japan, you want to go to a restaurant, you got to make sure that the type of spice that contain haram ingredients from pork is not being used. It's called mirin, and you got to make sure that you avoid it at any cost. And do they offer halal salad dressing? If not, simply ask them to serve salad without any dressing on top of it. So guys and gals, the above mentioned questions may help you determine whether you're going to actually eat halal food in the restaurant in question. However, you may want to ask them further questions if you're still in doubt. And if you're not satisfied, even after asking all these questions, you may want to find another restaurant in the vicinity. But if they say that they're Muslim and the foods being served on their premises are halal, please trust them, eat your food, and leave the rest to Allah. Thanks so much again. If you would like us to do other videos like this, please leave a comment below, and inshallah we will be able to bring up with another episode of similar nature. Jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum.